QB3 is an academic institution. It's a partnership with Berkeley, UCSF, and UC Santa Cruz. And its goal is to be an interface between the academic research community and the private sector. One of the ideas is so much of the wonderful research that goes on in the university doesn't benefit mankind as much as it should, and QB3 is there to try and recognize when there's an important invention and try to help it come into the private sector for public good.
Regis got a great vision, and his vision combines two elements which are not that common to find. One, he's a great scientist. He's got great scientific insight and understands how that works. And the other is he understands the economy, and he understands how science can do a tremendous amount of good for people in California. So the idea is to break through the normal bounds, the normal barriers of the ivory tower, and to get some of this great research that's going on out into the economy, where it not just creates jobs, but creates whole new industries.
So much good science never gets to practical application because either the scientists are more interested in the pure science or because they don't know how to develop the more practical aspects and move their science toward perhaps funding a company or founding a company.
The way I tried to deal with finding the sweet spot between academics and business was to look, in fact, to see where there was an overlapping interest. And one of the things that was important for me in doing this was to come in and realize that the business people, most of the ones I meet at least, also want to do good, really also want to help society. Although they have to make money, that's required of them.
His view of how to do good in the world has changed to a large extent, and he thinks that through business, through creating jobs and building industry in the Bay Area, you can really improve people's well-being.
You know, part of QB3 has been to help the growth of Mission Bay, and Mission Bay is one of the most exciting things in San Francisco. You know, it's one of the biggest transformations since Golden Gate Park, and just to walk around there and see the buildings going up, seeing the new houses, new offices, new labs, that's very exciting, and to feel I've been a little part of that is very gratifying.
Regis really built up QB3 from scratch and created something brand new out of whole cloth, which is, I think, really very exciting. He's very interested and very excited at keeping the Bay Area at the pinnacle, really, of economic development, especially through biotechnology. So what he's created that is quite new is all of this garage space where young entrepreneurs from the university primarily can set up experiments and then start new companies.
One thing about my dad, and I think it translates to his work life as well as his home life, is he's just very much about empowering the people around him, and I think that's a pretty important kind of both management and just human skill, to really just trust the people around you and empower them to do their own thing.
If I were to try to think of an example of a company which we've helped, one of them, for example, a graduate student discovered a way of repurposing existing drugs. So taking all the drugs that are currently on the market or have failed in going through phase 3 trials and find different uses for them. So that means all this millions that have been invested in research to get these drugs up to this stage, you can actually extract value for them for very little additional costs. And any time you can get a lot of value for little additional cost, that's very appealing to a Scotsman.
At his core, that's really what drives him, is trying to do the best possible thing for the most amount of people and sort of mobilizing the university and all the sort of resources he can to kind of to do good. And it's never about money, never about prestige.
You know, there's a lot of debate in our society today about the efficacy of government in creating jobs. And I think this QB3 collaboration is a perfect example of how government can appropriately and efficiently create jobs.
These are difficult times for the University of California and the state of California because of the cutbacks of financial resources. But we have an asset in the Bay Area which is almost unbeatable. So many people with talent in the business world, venture capital talent, business talent, are willing to share that talent with the university, particularly with the young entrepreneurs in the university. And this phenomenon, which we call talent philanthropy, I think is really the secret of our success in the Bay Area, and is what will guarantee our success going into the future.